Joining me now, my friend Ryan Girdusky, founder of the great 1776 Project PAC. Ryan, okay, to unpack all these primary stuff. I see Madison Cawthorn's gone. Pennsylvania, of course, is a disaster. What happened last night?
Well, Madison Cawthorn, let's start with his race. Madison Cawthorn ended up losing by about 3 points to a state senator, popular state senator in his district. Madison, as I wrote in an article for the website Unheard, didn't die of a fatal blow. He died of 1,000 small paper cuts. I mean, Madison made 1 million small mistakes from trying to leave his district and move out of it to and then having to run it all over again, to getting caught in a number of lies. There was obviously the nude video, which was personally embarrassing. There was accusations of insider trading. It just never ended. And at the same time, there was almost nothing that we could point to saying this is a legislative accomplishment or even an issue he was championing. If you want to be the Republican AOC, a big part of that is not just being a social media celebrity. It's actually having legislation that you're supposed to champion on the right. And he didn't have any of that. So I think that that was really problematic on his part. Pennsylvania is a disaster. I think a lot of late breakers flipped between Kathy Barnett and Dave McCormick. Dave McCormick also had a very aggressive mail campaign early on. That may help him when they're counting the votes, although I think Dr. Oz should have it in the end. I mean, we really don't know is the big question. I would put my money more on Dr. Oz. But look, it's very likely that one of these candidates is going to win by under 100 votes out of 1.3 million cast. And I think that just shows the field a lot of people didn't have a candidate to choose from. I mean, it wasn't like these were two amazing candidates. These were two very lackluster candidates with a lot of problems, and people really didn't know where to go. So I think that's why we're seeing it so divided.
Let's focus on Madison for just a quick second. Death by 1,000 cuts. Obviously, you can't pick up your phone and look at a news site without seeing the guy's name in the headline somewhere, and I have no doubt he's made a bunch of mistakes. But a lot of this seemed to come from the right. A lot of the attacks on him seem to come from the right. Attacks from the left are not exactly a surprise, but why was he such a thorn in the side of the Republican establishment? Should we feel excited he lost? Should we be down and out? How should we feel about it?
You know, I said like last night, if you look at a lot of the races, we had a lot of good candidates who won in a lot of different races. There was Bo Hines in North Carolina, who was an ally of Madison Cawthorn's, who did win, who ran on a lot of the same issues, who's as young as Madison is. I think that the problem was, I mean, everyone claims it was when he said that there was sex drug-filled orgies by 70-year-olds octogenarian or 70-year-old or 80-year-old congressmen that he was being invited to, which was a strange remark that he apologized for, though he insisted it was true. I don't have a real opinion, but I don't mourn Madison Cawthorn losing, simply because, I like the way that he voted a number of times, but it becomes exhausting. I mean, he was not somebody who's been in office for 20 years and had a few scandals like Steve King did for saying things that were kind of inappropriate or that you had to defend but were kind of true. It came from Madison doing things over and over and over again, and you have nothing really to point to and saying, wow, he did something really great here. Yes, he voted against the aid bill for the Ukraine, which was good. He he co-sponsored bills against illegal immigration, which was great. But at the end of the day, it was more about the personality, and the personality became very tedious to defend. It's also a guy who, he right after he was elected, a lot of his personal backstory that he made a part of his campaign to get elected turned out to be completely not true. From saying that his best friend left him to die when in fact his best friend had saved his life, to saying that he was part of the Naval Academy, which he was never part of. And then he got into a personal war with Senator Tom Tillis over the future of the party within the state. I'm no fan of Tom Tillis, but that was a big part of it as well. It just never seemed to end, and there was never a point where you're saying, well, yeah, he's got a lot of problems, but he's so great on so many things. He was good to mediocre on a number of things, and he was a lot to sit there and to protect over and over again. So I'm not excited he lost, but I'm not going to mourn that he lost as well, because it's not an overall message about the America First movement, because a lot of our candidates won. It's a problem of Madison's.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.